You know, when people say go to a holiday party with your stomach full to avoid eating all those junk foods and candies and cookies that are going to be given to you, or at least not to eat too many of them. I'm Bob Buter with Yoga Life Institute. I wanted to share a few tips for you, not from that perspective, but from the emotional perspective of going to one of these holiday parties. And you'll often go and people feel nervous, they feel uncomfortable. You'll notice people use alcohol to loosen up because, again, they're feeling nervous. It's a time when many of us will grab a few cookies and that'll kind of keep us busy. And again, there's a lot of angsty feelings when we're really thinking about trying to celebrate the holiday season. It's when the time of year when things become dark and we're more indoors. We have some lights and some festive times, but yet somehow it's not always that enjoyable. And let me give you a few thoughts. I want you to go full in your emotional balance, just like I would want you to honestly have a quick sandwich before going to one of these parties if you know there's going to be a lot of food temptations or something, right? But fill yourself up emotionally as well in terms of being really positive. And the way that I would recommend doing this is by setting a really clear intention for why you're going to the party. And that may mean revising things. Say it's a work obligation, say it's a family obligation, and you're going to this event because you kind of have to. And that can take us down a path that leads to all this discomfort, where you have people supposedly celebrating the holidays, but part of them doesn't want to be there. And that's very normal. There may be different personality conflicts at work. There may be pressures. It's very normal. What you can do is reflect on this and think, what intention could I use just for myself? I'm not going to tell everybody, but just for myself, so that when I go to this party, like I'm going to practice deep breathing, or I'm going to think of a compliment for all these people. And during our conversations, I want to share that really positive thing about them, and say, hey, I really have been wanting to tell you, I appreciate how considerate you are, or I noticed that you helped this person, a few months back, and I never had a chance to really honor you. Say, like, go into it with some thoughts that you really want to reach out and connect. When you start to do this, you take the have to feeling out of it because now you've got a purpose, you've got an intention, and you're filled positively within yourself. So you're not going looking for anything from other people. That's your key. See, if you're empty emotionally and you want to rely on other people, say complimenting you or telling you they love you, well, what if they don't? You have no control over that. So if you choose to say, hey, I feel love within myself. If the other people share something wonderful, hey, that's gravy. But I'm going to give it out to them, you know, in a measured way, nothing too over the top. And then you're going to go in with total confidence. You're going to be relaxed. You're not going to be nervous. You're not going to need a drink to take the edge off because there's no edge to take off. If you choose to have something, that's your choice. So there's a second tip I want to give you. And that, again, is based on going in with this intention, but that is one of deep listening. That when people speak, you don't just jump on top of whatever they said and say something either related to it or something about you related to that circumstance. You pause and you let that person expand upon what they were saying by noticing something really powerful in what they said and get them to expand about it. Hey, did you hear that, uh, my daughter is going to such and such a college? And then you follow back and say, no kidding. My nephew went there too, and he loved it or something. No, no. You pause and ask them more about their daughter. Oh, really? Is she excited? Is there some special plan with going there? Does she like that area? I have a nephew that went there. He especially liked the mountains. Is she a skier too, like him, or what is she interested in? And then your listening invites that person to feel loved, to feel respected, to feel that you care without needing to do anything else. You basically listen more deeply and more curiously. In our training programs, we have 8 online listening courses to just help people improve that. All it takes, though, if you don't have time to study one of these courses, is just asking questions to let that person's train of thought to continue and learn something about it, learn something about them, and you will feel really good because when we listen deeply, we actually feel close to the other person. So we don't necessarily have to make somebody say something nice to us that makes us feel close to them, even if they're a relative. Just by listening carefully, asking different questions, and staying on a topic without jumping in with our stuff immediately. Sure, we have normal conversations. So I hope that gives you a little insight. Biggest thing is to set an intention and be very clear that you do not have to go to any parties. That's an optional attitude. That is one of feeling like a victim, basically, to a party. You choose to go to a party, even if it is a work obligation. You can change that by going in with a specific attitude that you've generated. You're going to keep your physical stomach in good shape so that you don't start eating junk food. You're going to keep your mental part good because you're going to fill yourself up with these positive emotions because you're going in with a good intention. You're going to feel empowered. And I hope this changes your experience of different holiday parties. It has for many of our members over the years because every year at this time, we hear all kinds of stress being generated through these events that were intended to be fun. So I hope you have a joyous holiday season that does begin in November.